What's going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another Madden 24 Ultimate Team video. In today's video, we're going to be going over two methods that you can use all year round to make coins in MUT 24. Now, if you guys enjoy this video, if you like it, if it helps you out, make sure you go ahead and click that thumbs up button. Shows a lot of support on the channel, helps the videos get noticed. Also, if you're brand new here, you're searching on YouTube for MUT 24 content, whether it's how to make coins, how to get free players, how to build your ultimate team, you found the right channel for everything. Stay a while, click that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on as well so you guys are alerted when we drop additional videos. Let's get right on into it. So one of the most requested things, the main questions that I get asked here are, how do you make coins? What are you doing to make coins? How can I make coins? Obviously, you need coins to buy better players, to get a better team. And I know a lot of you are no money spent out there. I think this video will help you. We're going to go over two principles, again, that will not be promo specific, card specific, two principles you can use all year long to make coins in MUT 24. Now, some of it, you're going to have to do the work on your own. And when I say the work, I mean the math, but we'll give you an example of what to look for the first method. And it's basically, I mean, it's not rocket science, right? You want to look for sets that you can build out a card for cheaper than the card sells on the auction house. So if you can build the card for cheap and then sell the card for more than you cost to build it, while also factoring in the 10% tax, there's a profit margin that you can make. And every time you're able to find that profit margin, those coins go to you. And that's how you're going to be able to make coins. Some of these methods are also slow, but definitely reliable. So it's not going to be a get rich quick scheme at all. If you're no money spent, if you like to grind the auction house, this is going to be for you. We're going to help you out. So we'll use team builders as an example, but I just want to stress this. This is not a team builders method. This is a building set method that you can use for anything from this point going forward. You can more than likely do it with legend sets right now. Headliners might be a little bit more difficult because it only requires 5 cards. More cards in the set, the better, and it's going to revolve around sniping cards or finding cards cheaper than the average price that they are on the auction house. So if we go to the team builder set here, right, you're going to need to build out an 85 overall team builder player, 2 82 to 83s, 4 80 to 81s, and then 7 78s to 79s. And we're factoring in, or kind of going with the assumption that you have 0 cards in this set, or 0 cards that can go into the set already starting out. Now, the first step here is to find the price of the team builders and what they basically sell for, because we need to figure out what we need to, the amount that we need to spend to build this card without losing profit. So the number one route that I go with here is heading on over to MUT.gg, and you can always check the auction house in-game as well. But if we go to MUT.gg, we click the players tab. I'm going to go over to the right here. I'm going to go program is going to be not rookie premier, but team builders. And then you want to make sure you're on the right market, right? So I'm on PS5. That's what I'm going to select, but you can go Xbox Series X, PC, Xbox One, PS4. Make sure you're on the right market. And then finally, we're going to go down to sorting. I just want to make sure you can see this with my face cam in the way. We're going to go to sorting, and we're going to go to price and then click apply filter. So you can see on average, the 85 overall team builders at this point in the game roughly go for about 170K. Now, I'm going to assume that we can actually sell these cards for that price, and I'm going to go with a baseline of 160K. Now, I want to throw this graphic up on your screen, and this is work or math that I did before hitting record on this video, and we'll explain through the rest of it. But if you read it, and we'll go from top to bottom here, we have 85 overall team builders. We're saying that they sell around 160K. If you minus the 10% tax, which you are going to be taxed when you sell a card, that means if you sold one for 160 in return after tax, you're going to get about 144K. Now, we went over the requirements for that team builder set, and these are the prices that currently I'm targeting. These numbers are going to change, and if you're doing a different set, we'll show you how to calculate or kind of get an idea of what you need to look for at each overall. So don't think that these numbers are going to stick for the next hour, the next 2 days. They could change, and we'll show you how to find those. But right now, if we can get 282 or 83s for 30K, 480 to 81s for 11K, and then 78 to 79s at 4K each, that would total about 132,000 coins to build one. Now, using those very round and exact numbers, if we were able to build a team builder for 132K and then sold it for 160K, 30K. After tax, that would make us about a 12K profit. And again, I want to stress, I know that's not like a huge amount. To some of you it might be, but if you get very good at this and you can find cards for under the numbers that I just showed you, which is a little bit cheaper than the average, if you can snipe a few there, that's going to make your profit margin bigger. And again, you can use this practice on any set. It's up to you to do the math going forward. We're just going to show you one single example, and I also want to go through how you can actually look for the prices on these cards on MUT.gg. You're going to want to click the prices tab up at the top of the screen. Again, make sure you have your correct market selected. Because I'm on PS5, these are the numbers that I'm going to use. Now for the 80 to 81s, we're going to use this grid, and we know for 80s that we can find them for about 13K. Now on my example that I showed you, we listed them at 11K, and the reason I did that is because number one, you want to shoot under this target price. These are the average costs for each overall. You want to try to find under average because that's going to lead to a bigger profit margin. The 82, 83s are a bit more expensive, and I listed them exactly at 30K on my example because from what I found going through the auction house, that's about the best that I could get them at. If you can get them for cheaper than 30K, obviously that's a W. And then the 78, 79s was kind of my own research because it's not on this website, and you can do that as well. You can go through the auction house and look for the average prices on these various overalls. I found that it's fairly easy to find 78s or 79s for 4K or under. Now you can use whatever filters you want, but this is what I do to go through the auction house to find cards for cheaper prices. Right now we're going to focus on the 78 to 79, so we're going to use the 75, 79 filter. And if you look towards the upper left, above that very first card, it says 100 items found. On the auction house, it's always going to list either the first 100 items, or if there's less than 100 items on whatever filter you have, it will show all of them. So there's millions, well I shouldn't say millions, but there's a lot more than 100 gold cards on the auction house on PS5 right now. So the next thing that we're going to want to do here is go down to newest. So instead of buy now price, we're going to select newest. This is going to show us the most recent cards that have been listed on the auction house, and you can see they're at like 48, 47 minutes. So these really have been sitting here for about 13 minutes. Now when it comes to gold cards and pretty much any cards, I'm also going to do an extra filter, and I now want to go by position. And basically what I'm focusing on here, because it can get overwhelming just kind of looking at this entire thing, I'm looking for like this top row, and you can even go down to the second row. We're just looking for the number that's under 4K. And you know, I see one here and here, but those aren't 78 to 79. So we're just going to move on and go over to the next position, halfback, and we're going to hope that we see within that top row something under 4K. So here is a 78 for exactly 4K. That would meet our budget. So we're going to go ahead and buy it. And remember, anytime you can find something under the budget that we listed earlier in the video is going to lead to a bigger profit margin. So we now know that we need, I think, what, 6 more 78s, and we're just going to keep going through the same overall and keep looking for these cards under that 4K budget. Here's another one we found in Ed Reed for 3.8K, so somebody just beat me to it, but if I wasn't recording this video, I probably would have been much quicker and been able to buy it, but you can get the point here that you should be able to find these cards if you have enough patience for under the budget that we're setting. We got a Javon Curse sitting here for 3.6K if we can get it before somebody else does, and you may have noticed the timer, it said 59 minutes and 40 seconds, so we got that one while it was sitting there for only about 20 seconds since somebody listed it, and that's why that newest filter is very, very good for you guys. So cycle through each position. I also want to point out I'm doing this video on a Tuesday afternoon. These cards are going to be cheaper, or you're going to be able to find more cards at cheaper prices on more active days, which will usually be either Thursdays or Fridays when big promos come out, and of course Saturdays when legends come out in the morning. So after we buy all of the 78s and 79s that we need, we'll just go over to the next overall and we'll use the same concept, right? So we got 80 to 81s. We need to change our price. We're now looking for cards that are under 11K, but we're going to cycle through each position until we can find an 80 or an 81 for under 11K. So I just want to show you some examples of cards that I bought off the auction house for under those target prices. You can see a couple 78s and 79s well under 4K. Here are a couple 80, 81s that we got under 11K, and then that 30K price range for the 82, 83s, we pretty much had to stick to that. This one I paid 350 extra coins. Sometimes that's going to happen, but when you get a 78, 79 for 400 coins under the budget that you set. You know, you can kind of have some flexibility. They're very important that you write down what you pay for each card so you can actually calculate the total sum of what you paid. You can pull out a calculator, a pen and pad. You can make a spreadsheet on Google Sheets, whatever works for you. Just pay attention and write down and calculate what you paid for each card that you built, so then when you sell it, you can know the exact profit that you made. But again, just a very general tip here: look for sets where you can build the cards cheaper than they actually cost on the auction house, and then sell the card minus the 10% tax to find a profit margin and to make coins. Now, the second method is actually one that I made a coin making ebook out of a couple years ago, and it's made a lot of people coins throughout the years, and I think some of you who watch those videos or were subscribed at the time probably still use this method to this day. Now, this one can be a little bit tedious, and the profits you're making aren't going to be a ton at a time, but overall they're going to kind of add up, and before you know it, you'll be making coins. This works really well on the companion app, which hasn't updated yet for MUT 24. We'll keep you posted on that, what it does. But we talked about filtering, right, to find the cheapest cards out there. Well, believe it or not, and hopefully all of you watching this video will no longer do this, there are people out there that will pay for unfiltered cards. And what I mean by that is, if we just simply sort by 80 to 81, you can see at the very top of the list, these cards are going for about 15K. There are definitely lots of 80 and 81 overalls that are under 15K on the auction house, but for whatever reason, because people are uneducated, they will buy these cards instead. So as bad as it sounds, we are going to prey on these uneducated MUT menu auction house people to make coins. So if you look in the middle, you can see this Brandon Sheriff card sold for about 14.9K. The one thing to keep in mind, one of many things, is that these cards will take a while to sell. They are unfiltered, right? But it's going to take a while for them to kind of get to the top of this list, unless people are filtering down, of course. So when we do this second method here, you have to expect that some of these cards are going to sit here for potentially an hour, and you never want to list these cards for over an hour. But basically it goes like this, right? So we kind of find our baseline here. You could say it's 15K. I'm going to go down to 14K. So our goal here is to sell 80 overalls for 14,000 coins, because people who are not filtering the auction house will potentially pay 14K for them. We're going to look for cards well under that we can make a profit margin off of. So you do want to factor in the tax, as always. 14,000 coins minus 10%. I had to write it down. Don't blame me. I am good at math, but not right now. 14,000 coins minus 10% means in return you'll get 12,600 coins back, right? So it's 14K, sorry, 1.4K in tax. So now we know if we sell a card for 14K, we're getting 12.6 back. Next thing you want to do is decide how much you want to make per flip. So I always think a safe number is 500 coins. And again, this is going to be small amounts that will definitely add up. And the bigger snipes that you find, the more profit you're going to make. But if we want to make about 500 coins, and we know that we're going to get 12.6 back after tax, we're going to be looking for cards that are about 12.1K. So if we buy an 80 overall for 12.1K and we list it for 14K, which would be that unfiltered price, after it sells, then we're going to make 500 coins. But these cards pop up so often that it makes it easier to compile or just keep adding on. And those 500 coin profits that could potentially turn into more depending on the snipe that you get will definitely add up. This is a great method. Again, when the auction house is more active, I'm purposely doing it on a Tuesday afternoon with no new content, no new packs, to still show you that it works. But when you think about Saturdays in the morning when people are buying legend packs, and team of the week content usually is going to be coming out on a Wednesday afternoon this year, that's always a great time to do it as well. When the auction house is active, these methods are going to work. As far as filtering, you're going to do the same thing that we did in method number one. We're going to go to newest, we're going to keep our 80 to 81, and then we're just going to sort through position. And if we can find one of these cards for 12.1K or under, which we already proved that we can during the first method, we're going to buy it and then relist it for 1 hour, only 1 hour. Never put the card up for more than 1 hour. We're going to list it at 14K, and eventually that unfiltered card at 14K is going to pop up to the top of the list, and some noob is going to go ahead and buy it. And we're going to take advantage, and we're going to make coins. So we got that Anthony Walker for 10.2K. I wanted to buy it and not talk before somebody beat me to it. But basically, after we buy this card, right, I would go to view item, I'd go to auction, and I'd blindly list this one for 14K. I usually just go 13,999. It'll round it up to 4K. Very important, again, keep it at 1 hour and then post it. It's probably going to take 45 minutes to 55 minutes for that card to sell, but it should sell at 14K unfiltered, and we're going to make, you know, like 1,500 coins off of that. One other very important tip that I want to leave you with on that second method is that for whatever reason, it's very dangerous to do overnight because prices just go really weird. That's how it's been for years. Like, prices actually get cheaper during the late nights into the morning, and then they eventually start to kind of creep back up around 10, 11 a.m. Eastern time. But there are situations, if you're not careful or if you try to do this overnight, where you could buy a card, list it, and then you find that the card's like 2,000 coins cheaper during that duration of time, and then you're screwed basically. You're SOL. You're going to lose out on that profit margin, and those numbers will fluctuate. So you need to check your baseline price every day or every time before you go and do that. Even if you do it like once at noon and once at 6 p.m., you got to check those baseline prices. But those are two moves that you can make to make coins throughout the entire year of MUT 24. Hope it helped. Thank you for watching. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.